Hi there, my name is Deji. Thank you very much for joining me today on SmallBusinessSmallMoney.com. You know, small business owners are the highest employers of labor in most economies. And the ironic part is that small businesses also have the highest churn rate of great talent in most economies as well. So why do great people leave? Why do great people leave organizations, especially when they are small organizations? I've identified about 4 reasons that I think are very critical, especially in my experience working with growth-oriented businesses, why great people leave those organizations. The first one I want to talk about is structure. When the structure within a business is such that it's suboptimal, it is entirely dependent on the desires and the wishes of one person, it's very frustrating for great people, and there is a very high likelihood that they're going to leave. So for example, I recently met a young man who left a one-man business, and I was wondering why, because he didn't leave for another job, he actually left to go and stay at home. And I was asking him what the problem was, and essentially everything he said was around the structure within the organization. The CEO signs checks whenever he wants to, vendors are paid at his own discretion, there is no structure within the business, everything happens at his own instance and without any other thing. So great people are typically frustrated when the structure within the organization is suboptimal, is not such that they can rely on the words of the owner. The second reason why a lot of times great people would leave an organization, especially a small business, is when there is no room for growth. No room for growth. So great people have a way of projecting into the future 4 years, 5 years from where they are, and they look into their organizations. If they see that there is no room for growth, in other words, there can only be one CEO, but can there be several operations managers? All right? Is your business that robust? Is your business such that you are growing so that you can keep your people? You know, if your business is not growing, there is a very high likelihood that great people will leave. So when great people look into the business and they see no room for growth, aside from just perhaps an increase in their salary, there is a very high likelihood that they will leave. And the reason is not far-fetched. Everybody desires expression, everybody desires growth, and sometimes it's not just about the money. The third reason why great people would leave an organization is subjective performance evaluation. Over the years, I've worked with businesses and business owners who deliberately put down people within their organizations just because they want to create an impression that they are not doing so well. And because they are not doing so well, they don't deserve growth, they don't deserve a promotion, they don't deserve any of these things. Such organizations do not match people's performance or do not do a good job measuring effort versus performance. And so great people will leave when they feel like the performance evaluation within the organization is very subjective, it doesn't consider their strengths, and it doesn't help them get better. What do you need to do about it? Restructure your performance evaluation. Make your goals clear at the onset before you get into the business. Once your goals are clear, then the way to achieve them is also very clear. The last reason I want to talk about why great people leave is compensation. A lot of times they are not paid enough, all right? And so because of that, a lot of them leave. But there are other things you can do around compensation. You can structure some sort of equity holding into the business if you feel that the person is worth it. You can structure profit sharing into the compensation if you feel that the person is great and this is a talent that you wouldn't want to lose. You can have an agreement for a short-term period of time, 5 years, 7 years, perhaps until you can pay the person the kind of money you would like to pay them. And you can just be creative around several ways of structuring their compensation. For great people, it's not necessarily just about the money, it's also about structure, it's also about performance evaluation, it's also about room for growth. Thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Deji Agwadi on SmartBusinessSmartMoney.com, and I'll see you next time.